Hi there, it's Skyward Shield. Welcome to a new Power Rankings video. Let's just jump right into it. Let's start with Tier 4 teams 25 through 32. The bottom three are the same. The Texans did not drop. Instead, the Dolphins took their place because, Jesus Christ, they're horrible on offense. The defense did more things for them than the offense, but that defense is still overrated. The dirty team got taken down by the Patriots, which is good for me, because I do not like Miami. Anyway, so, the Texans didn't drop, even though Tom Savage is really bad. I think they only went up just because the Bears played much worse than them this week. And, of course, the Dolphins are the Dolphins. Could make the case that the Dolphins should be higher than the Bears, but to be honest, I don't like it. They're both pretty trashy. Either way, Texans, they're probably going to drop if they lose to the Titans, unless these teams play even worse, but we'll see. I mean, to the Texans' credit, at least Hopkins went over 1,000 yards. Should be a Pro Bowler, right? Nah, this is all a popularity contest, so you know that Cowboys players are going to get in. Maybe not a Patriot player. Vikings players have a shot. Eagles definitely. Steelers definitely. Saints probably. I don't know. Either way. Too bad, Texans. There's always next year, but the Texans and the Cowboys fans who honestly believe you're still not out of the playoff hunt, get over yourselves. You're both done. Get out of here. Anyway, another team I should mention before we move on. Number 25, the Broncos. Yikes! Where were you guys? What happened? Paxton Lynch. I thought Paxton Lynch was the Lord and Savior. He was the one that was meant to save this team, and John Elway was a genius because he picked up Peyton Manning, one of the best quarterbacks ever, to off the streets from Indianapolis. Yes, that was such a genius move. No other team was smart enough to pick up Peyton Manning. Okay, guys, yes, he's such a genius. That's like saying if I picked up Tom Brady from the Patriots, I would be bequeathed as a genius. No, it's called common sense. I'd be more worried if he didn't do it. Either way, Denver, or can we just say that John Elway's not as a great GM as everyone says, because Paxton Lynch was just as bad as Brock Osweiler. He actually exuded similar traits, overthrowing his players. Jeez, this was the Oakland Raiders defense. You kind of made them look like the Chicago Bears from 1985. What's wrong with you? Anyway, enough of that trash. Let's move on to Tier 3. I mean, not any of these teams are any better, but hey, at least they can play the goddamn game. The Cardinals, actually, this is a big rise. Why? I mean, it won't last forever, but for a Cardinals fan, just be glad you moved up from number 29 to 23, 6 spots. Why? You beat the Jaguars. I was impressed by that, considering you had Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert got his revenge on his old team. This is the team that picked him over J.J. Watt. That's hilarious. So, Blaine Gabbert, if there's any consolation, you get to say, I kicked your ass, Jacksonville. That's what you get for kicking me out. I mean, you're the eternal backup quarterback, but hey, you got to beat your whole team. Not many players can say that all the time. Good for you, man. Good for you. I'm happy for you. And I'm happy for Larry Fitzgerald and John Brown. Oh, they diced up that defense like it was a salad. Jeez. The so-called number one defense just... Yikes. I mean, granted, they did make some plays, but... Oh, boy, Blake Bortles... He was having an okay game, too. 2 rushing touchdowns, but... Oh, man, he couldn't hide forever. I told you guys it was coming. He was going to melt down and cost them a game. If it's to the Jags fan on the comments, here, at least be glad it happened now. As if it doesn't happen again, great. You got that bad Blake Bortles moment out of your system. And now it's straight to the playoffs, right? I would hope so for Florida's sake, because all of Florida has been an embarrassment. Maybe the Jags can at least be that one silver lining until you play the Patriots and get knocked out 28-3 again. Like in 2005. That was a fun game, wasn't it? Oh, wait, that had a bad quarterback, too. No wonder you lost that one. Anyway, let's move on from that. So, we won't be talking about Jacksonville when we get to Tier 2. Just know that, yikes. Well, I will mention that a bit when we go to numerical order, so to speak. Either way, Buffalo, I only moved them up once, but I moved them up once as a safety thing because I'm not sure if they deserve that spot. Like, if they lose, I'll try to remember not to bring them down too much because they got to play New England this week. So even if I brought them up to like number 16, they'd be back where they started in no time. So who knows? It's more of a just move them up a little bit just because they've earned it. But other than that, Bengals moved up, but you beat the Browns. You moved up just because I feel like you're a little bit of a better team than people give you credit for. But you're going to play Pittsburgh. Have fun with that. At least it's on Monday Night Football. You get a primetime game. It feels like forever since they've had one of those. How about them Cowboys? Cowboys dropped down to 18, and to be honest, I expect them to slip farther and farther. Embrace the tank, Dallas. Do what the Houston Astros did. Tank, tank, tank until you get the right talented players on your team, which you need defense, and you'll be good. But oh wait, there's the Dallas Cowboys fans still think they could beat the Eagles and win the division. Good luck with that. I'll just root for you until you lose. Anyway, Raiders, good job beating the Broncos. I'm impressed. Although you lost Crabtree because he decided to get in a fight with Aqib Talib. I know Aqib Talib's not the nicest guy since, he tried to suplex Gronk and act like, yeah, I flexed his muscle. Like, yeah, I showed him. Yeah, we're such a good team even though we were losing 13-3. Why would you gloat when you're losing badly like that? At that moment in the game, it was early. Still nothing apiece. But yikes, they're both out for 2 weeks, so have fun with that. And also, I think Amari Cooper might not make it to this game. I think he has a concussion. So Derek Carr really needs to show off his potential here, because it's going to be needed for... well, actually, no. The Giants are going to start Geno Smith. Oh, God, that's going to be embarrassing. I guess they're just waiting for that Webb guy to be ready. Anyway, enough. Let's talk about Tier 2, some of the frisky teams, and we have a lot of frisky AFC teams here. Detroit dropped, though. Let's mention the NFC team. Detroit, I wanted to put them down harder, but it's hard to, considering look what's below them. It's hard for me to argue that those teams are better. But now let's talk about the AFC. First, free-falling Chiefs. Out of respect, I keep cutting them off where they should clearly go down farther. I'm just thinking, I think the Chiefs would beat the Lions. But then again, I thought they would beat the Bills, and they lost there. So what do I know, apparently? The Chargers' run has begun. They beat the Cowboys, now they're going to have the Browns. And it's all uphill from there. I think the most challenging teams you got left are Washington and Kansas City. But going over there is not as dangerous, I would think. I mean, the Bills did it. Why can't you? So the run can begin. They need to win out. If they win out, they could get in. Hell, maybe they could lose that Chiefs game and they could still get in maybe at 9-7. It's just the Ravens would have to fuck up. It's really between the Ravens and the Chargers for that last wild card spot because, let's be real, I feel like Jacksonville and Tennessee are going to get in. But we'll see. But speaking of Baltimore, yeah, you beat the Texans. Good job. Good for you. I mean, your offense is still worrisome. And it took special teams to get you there, but hey, whatever works, alright? As long as you get your act together by the end of the year, you could make some noise. Maybe you could win a playoff game. Who knows? I don't know. We'll wait and see. Now, Jacksonville, I'd have put you lower, but out of respect for the Jags fan, because I know he shouldn't be mad because I dropped them, because look, you lost the game to what was number 29 on my list, the Cardinals. On normal circumstances, I'd have dropped you to 16, but out of respect for that defense, and considering the teams below him, I can't really do that. I think that would be wrong and actually disrespectful. Blake Bortles fucked up when it mattered most, but your defense, very, very church, man. He did not have a good day. He did not have a good day. Blair Fitzgerald ruined him. He got torched by John Brown for a 52-yard touchdown, which was a really good pass, by the way. But I want to say this was just a hiccup, and that the Jaguars defense will get their act together because they have, I think, the Colts this week. So I expect complete dominance, a borderline shutout. But we'll see. Okay, so moving on to a much better team. Let's move on. Let's skip ahead because these other teams, they're just, you beat bad teams, I guess. Anyway, the Panthers, they also beat a bad team in the Jets, but somehow they kept it real close, so that's why I don't think I really moved them around this list. but I still feel confident they're going to be that other NFC South team that gets into the wild card. Actually, they dropped, but I think that's just because some teams have, because of some shifting, I had to do so. Like like the Rams, because the Rams moved up, they had to step down a bit. But I think the Panthers are still in good shape to make the playoffs via wild card, because I feel like the Saints have it, unless the Panthers pull out all the stops this week. But speaking of the Saints, you were my disappointment. You were my upset of the week, and you failed me. How could you? Drew Brees, where were you, man? I needed you to beat the Rams. By the way, the Rams are now back in the top 5, number 4. Pretty good. I actually dropped the Steelers. I don't know. I kept the Steelers where they were at because you had to keep it close with the Packers at home. Come on, against Brent Hundley. That's just yikes. As a Steelers fan, I'd hope I get my act together before the Patriots come to town, because if the Patriots come to town and you're playing like that, they are going to whip your ass. They're going to annihilate you. And we're going to get in the playoffs and we're going to win 2 games. But when we play the Patriots in Foxborough for the AFC Championship again, we are going to get torched. It feels like an inevitability. I actually was going to put the Vikings up here, but then I realized the Patriots defense has gotten their act together. And they're not as good as the Vikings or the Jaguars, but they are still very effective. And of course, let's be real. Out of these teams, out of any of these top teams that look like they can make some noise, the Vikings, the Rams, or the Jaguars, or the Panthers, with their quarterbacks, they still compare. They don't compare to Tom Brady. He is playing well, and all the running backs are doing well. This week was Dion Lewis. I don't know who will be the star running back next week. It could be him again. It could go back to Burkhead. It could be anybody. They have like a revolving door of offensive weapons. And the minute Chris Hogan comes back, I think he's not out for the whole year. I think he'll return. They should be good. They look pretty good, I will say. I just feel like the Patriots are still in incredibly good shape. And their schedule is still easy. They got to play the Bills twice. That they may lose one of those, like this week, maybe, but I doubt it. The only other game they can maybe lose is the Steelers. That's on... It's a primetime game. I don't think it's Sunday Night Football, even though it should be. And that's really it. I mean, they play the Jets at home. That's how they end it. They also play the Bills at home just before that. So it's a very nice schedule from here on. They've been playing a lot of... they've played more of the tough teams early on, so that's why they're in real good shape. Of course, the Eagles, number 1. What else is new? Either way, let's move on from this to the 5 games to watch this week. Okay, so... let's start with something that's a little more obvious. Minnesota at Atlanta. Minnesota's for real. It feels like they are. Although they want any excuse to put Teddy Bridgewater in over Case Keenum, which in my opinion, why would you do that? That's a emotional thing, yes. But Case Keenum what's he doing wrong that he deserves to be benched? This guy has been with low expectations from everybody, and he's surpassed them. Like, he's not playing like Tom Brady or Drew Brees, but he's effective. And he hasn't really cost them anything. Maybe early on in the season, like with the Steelers game, but that's really it. And the Steelers in the first Lions game, but look what the Lions are now, so, I don't know. I think this one will be a bit of a toss-up. I have the Vikings winning, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons steal it. But they'll probably choke before that happens. Okay, my second game, actually speaking of the Lions at Ravens. Okay, so the Ravens, coming off a big Monday Night Football win, they're still in the race. They have a little bit of room for error, unlike the Chargers, but even so, they cannot afford to lose. Same thing with the Lions. The Lions are 6-5, but like I said, 10-6 may not even be enough for you to win a wild card spot here. And right now, it looks like the Vikings are going to win the division, especially because they beat the Lions. Either way, I'm going with the Lions for this one, but I won't be surprised if the Ravens pull it off, because the Lions, I feel like they're about to free fall into obscurity. Alright, my next game, this one's a little bit of a curveball for you guys, but Chiefs at Jets. Why? Because to me, this is the Chiefs' last stand. They fuck up here, and they let the Chargers win their game, which they're playing the Browns, but to be fair, they should dominate that one, but to be fair, They did lose to them last year on Christmas Eve, so anything's possible. But if the Chiefs lose to the Jets and then the Chargers win, then the Chargers have tied for the division. In fact, I think they might have the lead because they beat them the first time. They have to play again, mind you. But right now, because the Chiefs have been losing more games, the division's up for grabs. What looked like they were going to run away with it, they've just been losing and losing, and they've let the Raiders in the door. They've let the Chargers in the door. I mean, the Broncos are not out of it, but you know they're dead. They are dead in the water. But even so, you let the Raiders and the Chargers get back in it, and the Chargers are feeling frisky right now, so they can make a run. Hell, they may not even need to make a run for the division, or they can make a run for the division instead of the wild card, so who knows. Alright, my fourth game, another NFC South matchup, or another matchup with NFC South teams, the Panthers at the Saints. I have the Saints blowing them out in this game, but I could go either way, to be honest. I feel like the Panthers have figured things out, unlike the first time they played with each other, so this one may be closer. I'm still going with the Saints. I feel like the Saints are my NFC team to make the Super Bowl this year. They feel like it, but they have to win here. They gotta win here, especially for the sake of the division, because now they're locked in at 8-3. That edge might make too much of a difference for the Saints, especially if the Panthers can win out the rest of their games. It'll be a problem, but right now, this one, all eyes should be on this game, but what should have been my final game, this should have been a really good, close one. It doesn't feel like it anymore. Eagles, Seahawks. This was a really hype game like 5 weeks ago, but now it feels like this is the Eagles' game to lose. I think the Eagles are going to win this one, but if the Seahawks can somehow win this game, they not only knock down the Eagles a peg, but they also keep their playoff hopes alive, because the Rams could run away with it if they if the Rams beat the Cardinals and the Seahawks lose here, the Rams will be running away with the division. Anyway, so let's recap. My 5 games were Vikings at Falcons, Chiefs at Jets, Lions at Ravens, Panthers at Saints, Eagles at Seahawks. So there you go. Hope you enjoy that. Feel free to share your opinion on what you think from this list. I know not everyone will agree, but yeah, as long as it's more of, wouldn't say just don't be a dick about it, you'll be fine. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I will see you all next week for Week 14. See you guys then.